For the last series of week number 1, we have the House of Highlights versus Barangay. Now, Echo decided to shake things up by putting in Outplayed and benching Carl TZ, whereas Omega decided to stick with their guns and stick with their lineup. We all know the Echo Express, however, during game number 1, it feels like Omega finally found a workaround against their opponents, especially during moments like these where yes, Echo got the Lord, but during the post-Lord fight, they lost. They lost 2-3 of their players, and that's something Omega utilized. Don't let that fool you though, since Echo's defense was very much on point even in game number 1. They just gave Outplayed a lot of space, a lot of time so he can ramp up on damage. During the late game, everyone was at the edge of their seats. It did not matter if you're an Orca or a Barangay, everyone was entranced with how both teams were playing and fighting in the Land of Dawn. Echo lost a crucial team fight, and even though Sanford tried to save the day, his ultimate was cancelled. Their defense may be good, but their offense is a lot more dangerous. Echo managed to win one good team fight, and with that, they steamrolled right at Omega's base. Omega, though, not leaving without a fight, managed to pick off Sanford. They thought that was the end of it. They were getting the buff. They were ready to go back, but they did not anticipate Sanji going straight at their base and ending the game number 1. Game number 2 was a different ball game for our two teams here. Echo coming off from the victory high and Omega were forced to reset. During the early game, there were a lot of mini fights that Echo won. And one thing I want to say is Outplayed's positioning is so stellar in game number 2. Their draft for game number 2 screams Echo Express, and that gave them the confidence because the Sansan brothers, they were beasts in this game. Sanford would jump in, initiate, and Sanji would be safe at the back line, just free hitting a Novaria that hurt so much, by the way, and Outplayed is just safe at the back line, dishing damage to their opponents, which was Omega. When you think of Echo, you'd expect a lot of kills, right? But tonight, especially in game number 2, we saw a different side to them. They survived a low kill count game, they focused on their macro, they focused on rotation, they focused on making sure that the damage dealer from Omega could not move, could not even breathe. And with that, they were still able to secure the game number 2, closing out week 1 with a clean 2-0.